Local police department in Jacksonville said that this shooter wanted to kill black people and his firearms were covered in these disgusting symbols. That's all we know for now, and it's just such a terrible tragedy, and it just further proves that we need to combat the racism that still exists in America, and we need to tackle the extremism that is fueling a lot of these attacks. And the truth is, we need more gun control. The fact that someone like this was able to get an AR-style rifle and a handgun and then use that to take the lives of other Americans is absolutely disgusting. And remember, Republicans in Florida, like Governor Ron DeSantis, have weakened gun control laws in the state. For example, DeSantis signed a law in April that allows for permitless concealed carry. Like, what? It's just such a terrible tragedy. My thoughts go out to the victims and their families. I'm just so sorry.
Meanwhile,
well, we have to stop people that have bad intentions. Guns, the story is always about guns. People are bad. This guy's a bad guy. If I could take my gun off right now and I lay it on this counter, nothing will happen. It'll sit there.
All right, guys. So once again, we got to talk about the mass shooting that took place in Jacksonville, Florida, where you had an individual who happened to be white, decided to commit a heinous act by killing and shooting 3 black people at a Dollar General. Now, clearly this person is an evil person. He's a bad person. But the mainstream liberal media wants to focus more on this aspect of the gun, okay, and racism, more so than focus on the fact that, hey, maybe, just maybe, this person was a bad person, and maybe he also has some issues upstairs as well, too. No. They don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about how to continue to divide this country racially and taking away guns. And this was essentially the line of questioning that came from 2 liberal reporters that asked the Jacksonville sheriff, T.K. Waters, about this incident, and he wasn't having any of it. He smacked down the anti-gun and race-baiting talk from these reporters almost immediately. Take a look.
We're doing so much to try to determine what exactly led to this. The manifesto is quite frankly, the diary of a madman. He was just completely irrational. But with his irrational thoughts, he knew what he was doing. He was 100% lucid. He knew what he was doing. And again, it's disappointing that anyone would go to these lengths to hurt someone else.
Sheriff, could you explain are there any details as to why he was Baker active back in 2017, or his guns taken at the time?
No, he didn't have the guns back in 2017. He was only 15 at the time. There was no flag that could have come up to stop him from purchasing those guns. As a matter of fact, it looks as if he purchased those guns completely legally, and all the FFLs did what they were supposed to have done to make sure that there were no issues. So therein lies the difficulty. When a person grabs a hold of a gun with hateful intentions, it's very difficult to stop that from happening.
Sure. I just want to make sure I have this all in one place in terms of sound here. Can you just clarify, where did those firearms come from? Were they legal guns, and were they legally possessed?
They were 100% legal, and as I stand here with you today, they were legally possessed. There was nothing indicating. Again, like I said, it appears that the dealers that sold those guns to him did it legally. They did what they were supposed to have done. One was Wild West Guns. What was the other one?
One was Wild West Guns, and the other was Orange Park Gun and Pawn.
So it appears they did everything that they were supposed to do as a gun dealer. There was nothing indicating that he should not own guns.
So then, standing here on the other side of this podium, he possessed these guns legally. We know what he did with them. What could have been done? What should have been done?
Well, we have to stop people that have bad intentions. Guns, the story is always about guns. People are bad. This guy's a bad guy. If I could take my gun off right now and I lay it on this counter, nothing will happen. It'll sit there. But as soon as a wicked person grabs a hold of that handgun and starts shooting people with it, there's the problem. The problem is the individual. Now, guns are a tool that people use to do horrible things, but it's the individuals that wield these things. So we are working hard to try to stop that. But in this situation, in this case, there was nothing illegal about him owning the firearms.
Sure. Given how the history of this shooting, are you worried this might have implications for the community of a racial divide?
here locally or even nationwide?
I don't think so. I don't think there's a racial divide in our city. And actually, I work along with some of the best people in the entire world. And it doesn't matter what color they are or what they look like. We are banded together as a community to fight these issues. And I don't think there's a racial issue. I know there are racial issues with some people. But as a whole, we are all standing here together because we're concerned about the same thing.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, apparently, this same sheriff did an interview with Jim Acosta of CNN, and he basically said the same thing. And I tried really, really, really hard. I spent like at least an hour looking for that footage from CNN News of him essentially trying to shoot down Jim Acosta's questions about guns and race baiting, but I couldn't find it, right? I couldn't find it. But again, we do have clips here of him essentially saying that, hey, guns are not the problem. People are the problem. Bad people are the problem, okay? Because what the liberal media tries to do, you guys should have picked up on a line of questioning that he was getting, in the sense that they were clearly and obviously trying to get at this idea that some type of gun restriction or more gun laws in some way would have stopped this person from committing this mass shooting. However, the sheriff made it clear that, hey, there's nothing that could have been done to prevent him from getting this gun. I mean, he went through all the legal methods to get the gun. Okay, so stricter background check would not have worked. All the other things that the left proposes outside of just flat out banning guns, which is what they want to do, right? None of that would have prevented him from getting a gun. Okay, and even if you ban guns, considering how bad guys know how to get guns and they don't care about laws, I'm not sure if that would have prevented him from getting a gun either. Okay, but again, that's not what the mainstream liberal media wants to hear. What they want to hear is that, hey, there's some law that could have been applied. There's something that could have been done to prevent him from getting a gun in the first place, instead of dealing with the fact that, again, this person is simply a bad person, okay? And bad people commit bad acts, okay? They go out and they harm people and they kill people, and a gun is just a tool that they use in order to do that. But the problem is not the gun itself, it is the person using the gun, okay? So they tried to get the sheriff here to basically try to make some type of anti-gun statement, okay? He just wasn't going for it, right? He was not going for it. Also, what one of the reporters tried to do is to get him to try to make some woke statement about racism in this country when he wasn't going for that either. Okay, he basically said, look, I work with some of the best people in the world. If you watch the press conference, you can see he has white people around him. He has black people around him. He has people of all different races around him. And as a community, I don't feel like we have a racial problem. There is no racial problem in our community. I don't feel that way. What they wanted him to come out here and say that, oh, well, white supremacy is such a big problem in this country, and you need to talk about racism more because black people are victims of being hunted down every day by the white man, and we get sick and tired of this. We need laws. We need a hate crime bill. We need anti-lynching bills. That's what's going to stop this, right? That's what they wanted him to say. That's exactly what they wanted to say, and they tried to get him to say that because he was black, right? This is what they do, but they got an answer that they didn't expect. And shout out to this sheriff. Shout out to this sheriff for holding his ground, trying to be non-divisive, and not trying to come out here and also try to blame guns, which is exactly what Democrats do, okay? They blame guns. They turn around, they blame the GOP, okay? They blame everybody except the person that actually did it. And again, I think it's just a breath of fresh air to see the sheriff come out here and to push back against the divisive agenda, the anti-gun agenda that clearly was at the top of mind from these liberal reporters. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.